And I stood up. I stood up and I had no pain. Hi, my name is Bud, and I'd like to share a story with you that has had a major impact in my life. I used to play college football many years ago, and I hurt my hip when I was playing football. And they told me eventually I would need to have a hip replacement. And they told me to put it off as long as I can because technology will improve. And it's probably close to 30 years ago. And I just got learned to live with it. And, I just dealt with it. The older I got, the more pain I had. And I've probably put it off about 8 years too long. It was about a little over a year ago now. I was sitting at home at night and it was probably 10 o'clock in the evening, right around there. And I called a friend of mine. We got talking about my hip and I shared with them the pain that I had and that I'd been in. And at that point, I was literally using a crutch every single day, even around my house. And then he asked me, stand up and asked me how the pain in my hip was. And I said, it's probably an 8 or a 9 right now. He said, if you're open to, God healing that for you, I can help you. I'm like, absolutely, let's do it. And he led me in what I've now learned is the prayer of freedom. And he said, now stand up and tell me, you know, what your pain level is. And I stood up. I stood up and I had no pain. I mean, I literally couldn't even answer him because I was crying. It was the first time in years that I hadn't had any pain. And I literally had zero pain. I started walking around my house without my crutch. My wife was in bed already because it was late. And I walked up the stairs and I walked in to my room and I was crying. And my wife is on the phone with her mom or something. She says, what are you doing? What's wrong? I said, honey, I have no pain. And I started bending up and down. I said, my hip doesn't hurt. And she was blown away. It was just life changing for me. So, yes, if you have any pain in your life, from a personal standpoint, physically or anything else, I believe the prayer of freedom can help you. And I'm a living proven testimony that it can help.